Intellectuals always question their time's political and social norms, refusing to conform and inspiring others to follow in the same rebellious nature. He loved Big Brother. Through the novel 1984, Orwell shows us the dangerous price of rebellion, your freedom, your intellectual ideas. I got a bone to pick. Kendrick Lamar depicts his battle for intellectual freedom in the shady music industry, depicted in King Kunta. Both writers demonstrate how entities can control and conform citizens or artists. The entire system is built on a contradiction of suppressing powerful emotions, yet loving Big Brother. This is best seen in the party's propaganda, which manufactures obedient citizens who blindly follow the directions and slogans of the party, like Parsons. They are used to infantilize intelligence and blindly trust insult. The party would announce 2 plus 2 made 5. It is through censorship the party remains in control. They eliminate the possibility of thought crime by culling words. The party makes it impossible to articulate complex thoughts. It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of words. This statement from Science is ironic as he is a lexicographer. Orwell's ethereal message is to be vigilant of governments that attempt to control language. If you control language, you control thought. The death of language parallels the death of thought. INGSOC creates an environment where it is impossible to rebel. As we see in other totalitarian governments, rebellion will always occur. It's human nature. To contradict this, INGSOC begins to deconstruct human behaviors and instincts through the dissolution of family. The party transforms children into spies, mimicking the Stasi of East Germany. Without a parent to love, there's only Big Brother. To further eliminate love outside Big Brother, they erase the orgasm. This is done through sex crimes and the 2 minutes of hate. 2 minutes to let all emotion out. It was impossible to avoid joining in. It arranges the population together, with the emotions being uncontrollable. It further increases the impossibility of composing complex thoughts. By only having 2 similar emotions and a lackluster vocabulary, intellectual freedom and rebellion appear bleak. However, Winston rebels. Named after the British wartime PM, Winston is an unlikely hero. Orwell uses Winston to show the beauty behind rebellion, highlighting the intellectual freedom he receives by not conforming. Winston is constructed as an inspiration to fight against intellectually controlling governments. Orwell feared that these regimes would be voted in, advocating for a higher standard of living. Fearing that Great Britain voting in Clement Attlee would mimic Nazi Germany, where Hitler was voted in to raise the standard of living, but lowered intellectual freedom. This poses the question, what is the price of freedom? Orwell's ethereal statement is to stay increasingly vigilant in the post-World War II environment, prioritizing intellectual freedom over a higher standard of living. Nothing is worth more than our intellectual autonomy. Through the lens of a corrupt government, Orwell demonstrates his belief that one's autonomy and intellectual freedom are priceless and can't be compared to any other government benefits. Orwell composed a novel in the style of a manifesto to convey the need to rebel against these regimes. The main casualty of the rebellion is the people's autonomy. In the jazz-infused hip-hop song King Kunta, Kendrick Lamar paints himself as the modern-day music industry version of the historic rebellious slave Kunta Kinte from the novel The Roots. He advocates that in a world of musical conformity, a musician should hold on to and retain their artistic freedom, and not fold for the musical industry. He doesn't mindlessly chase after another hit song or become a product of streaming. This follows the themes of the album, To Pimp a Butterfly. The metaphor represents the music industry pimping the beautiful artistry of Kendrick. And if I got a brown nose for some gold, then I'd rather be a bum than a baller. Here Kendrick writes about how if he has to give up his artistic freedoms, he would rather go back to his impoverished hometown Compton to escape his intellectually captive lifestyle. He refuses to go about the mainstream approach, which is demonstrated in the jazz-infused hip-hop instrumental, which bears little resemblance to his previous works and is quite a departure. I remember you as conflicted, misusing your influences. This line is a part of an overarching poem revealed throughout the album. Kendrick has been raised from a peasant to a prince, and in an emerging age of police brutality and continued systemic racism, he is seen as an important political figure. The line in retrospect sees Kendrick feeling he's been a bad influence and has done nothing to improve the lives of people from his same environment. He likens himself to the paradoxical fictional character Kunte, the slave turned prestigiously king. is mimicked by Kendrick, being a reputable songwriter and poet, yet disrespected as a musician and a black man in America. King Kunta, everybody want to cut the legs off him. No one wants to see Kendrick succeed in his intellectual and in his artistic movement. In the novel, The Roots, Kunta Kinte's foot is cut off, but he doesn't stop flying towards his freedom. This parallels Kendrick's determination and his unwillingness to settle. Kendrick Lamar states his intentions of not conforming to the music industry standards, his artistic freedom, and that intellectual ideas will live on. Ultimately, both writers offer their perspectives on conformity and how quintessential it is to rebel against intellectual oppressors.